Switching gears. The NFL draft was this past weekend, and a lot of teams got a lot better. Some teams got moderately better, and some teams did essentially nothing. But the beautiful thing about the NFL draft is that no teams managed to get worse. And we're going to break down the whole thing in our draft recap show, as I talked about earlier, that we're going to drop in the next few days. But over the weekend, some other very big news dropped in the football world that reigning MVP Lamar Jackson will be gracing the cover of Madden 21. As of right now, the game is slated to drop this summer, but of course that could get moved because of the pandemic. Now, the question on everybody's mind is the Madden curse, stating that the player to grace the cover of Madden is pretty much screwed to either get hurt, have a season-ending injury, or their career just goes straight downhill. In a handful of cases, a player was named to the cover in the highlight of their career, and it just goes straight to hell. Some of those being King Sean Alexander in Madden 07, Vince Young, the Heisman Trophy winner and Rookie of the Year in Madden 08, and my personal favorite, Peyton Hillis, the face of Madden 12. Now, there are a lot less extreme cases. Ray Lewis, cover Madden 05, just got hurt, had a down year, and came back to full strength. So did Donovan McNabb and Odell Beckham. Richard Sherman and Tom Brady both went to the Super Bowl, and their team lost in their respective years. Gronk's team won the Super Bowl, but he was hurt, and Marty Bennett played, and Antonio Brown just lost his mind. There are two glaring exceptions to the curse, at least we'll call it 2.5. The first one, and in my opinion, the only time the curse was ever fully broken, was Calvin Johnson in Madden 13, which was his 2012 season. He recorded a career-high 122 catches and set the single-season record for most yards in a season with 1,964. That's a lot. But he only recorded 5 touchdowns, which is second lowest in his career. The other one, and this is the one where I'll give a half a point, is Tom Brady in 2017, where he was the only player to ever grace the cover of Madden to win MVP that season. But of course, his team, the New England Patriots, lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in a game I'd really prefer not to remember. So the most obvious, and obviously the most recent man to ever defeat the curse, and I mean completely defeat the curse, was this year, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, he did have to miss a couple of games because of a dislocated kneecap, which I'm sure hurt a lot. But he came back, led 3 comeback wins in the playoffs, which I will talk about later in this show, including a victory over the 49ers where he took home a nice ring and Super Bowl MVP. So, boys, we know what the curse can do. And my question to you is, one, can Lamar beat it and find a way to have the success that he's had continually uninterrupted, especially considering the Baltimore Ravens went out and got J.K. Dobbins in the draft, who's going to help him a lot? Or do you think he drops off this year? Sean, guess on.
Well, I would say I think coming off an MVP season, it's kind of hard to, repeat the same thing you did the year before. So I think he'll have a bit of a dropout, but I honestly think he'll have another good year. He might be even up for contention for another MVP. And I think Mahomes finally broke the curse, so I don't see why Jackson couldn't do it either, in theory.
Okay, Greenblatt, what do you think?
I think he's fine. I don't think it'll affect him. He's just going to put up stellar numbers again, and I don't see it affecting him unless he gets a serious injury.
Matt?
I think the Madden curse spent so much time beating the living hell out of Antonio Brown that it's done. It's used up. It's over. Whatever power was left for the Madden curse just went into the dumpster fire of that man's career. So it just let Patty Mahomes do his thing, and I think Lamar's gonna be fine because after Antonio, it doesn't get worse. It cannot get worse.
Okay, I'll give you that. Here's my thoughts on this. Here's my thoughts on Lamar in its entirety. First of all, what I'm about to do is compare him to Cam Newton, RG3, Michael Vick, and kind of Russell Wilson. But let me point out that aside from Russell Wilson, who's a different story, Lamar Jackson is significantly more talented than any of those 3 people. even Michael Vick, who I think is the closest because I think Michael Vick's the best natural athlete to ever play, but Lamar is smarter, and I think that helps him a lot, at least in the young parts of his career. He's more developed as a passer and more developed breaking down defenses than Michael Vick was in this point of his career. I think that's easy to figure out. That just comes from Lamar's dedication. But the reason I bring up Cam, RG3, and Vick, and Russell Wilson, I think, has adapted the most. And that's why I think he's the most successful. See, what happened with Cam, Griffin, and Vick is teams figured out how to play him. Teams figured out how to beat them. When you have a quarterback who's going to escape the pocket multiple times and make plays with his legs, every time he gets out of the pocket, you need to hit him. And that's what happened with Cam Newton. He just got the crap beat out of him. RG3 couldn't last in the league because he got beat up so bad that his knees just couldn't take it. And Michael Vick had some other issues, but if you notice, he was starting to decline a little bit because, granted, Atlanta wasn't giving him enough help, and I will give him credit there because Atlanta was screwing him and using him entirely wrong. Then he made some really, really poor, ethical, horrible, evil choices that got him sent to prison. But yes, Lamar is more talented than that. The problem is I can't get over the fact that he's gotten bigger, but he's still not Cam's size. He's faster. And when you're going faster, just like in a car accident, the faster you go, the more of an impact it's going to have. And Lamar running full speed, he's very good at sliding. I'll give him credit there. He's very good at sliding and very good at running out of bounds. But he takes one bad hit from Jamal Adams. He takes one bad hit from Derwin James. He takes one bad hit from Bobby Wagner. And that's what I think I'm more concerned about this season. Yes, the Madden curse is probably fabricated. I think there's enough evidence to point out that, yes, there is bad luck to it. Even Patty Mahomes, who I just said is the only one, in my opinion, to completely dismantle the curse. Well, he dislocated his kneecap. Have any of you guys ever dislocated your kneecap? I haven't. I don't want to. I'm sure it hurts a lot. And that's what I'm worried about with Lamar. I'm not worried that he's going to lose the dedication or he's going to go batshit crazy like Antonio Brown did. Believe me, that's the least of my concerns with Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson's a grown-up. And that's why, even though I hate Baltimore with a passion, there is no team in football I hate more than the Baltimore Ravens. I still can not root for Lamar, but feel good watching him, knowing that, okay, this is a good dude. This is a grown-up. This is a guy who hasn't hurt anybody, who hasn't done anything stupid, who hasn't said anything homophobic or dumb on Twitter, because God knows people our age love to do that. Simply put, with Lamar Jackson, I just worry about the freak accidents. And that's what happened with Patrick Mahomes. And realistically, when you have guys this good, that's the only thing that I think can take them down. So realistically, I'm not saying – I definitely don't think he's going to go through unscathed. At some point in his career, whether it be this year, next year, the year after, he's going to get beat up because that's the only way you can stop him. I'm very surprised that Bill Belichick didn't try to do that because if you look at all of our previous 20 years with the Patriots and Bill Belichick coaching the Patriots, when we have to play an athletic quarterback or an athletic team, i.e. the 2001 Super Bowl versus the greatest show on turf, the game plan is, okay, just punch them in the mouth until they don't get up. And so that's why I worry about Lamar Jackson going forward. But also, I want to ask you guys, who else, aside from Lamar, has potential to be the face of Madden? Because you think about it, and to me, I feel like Lamar is the perfect guy to represent the game in and of itself. He's fun. He's athletic. He's basically a human joystick. And if you play with him on Madden now, he's probably the most fun player to play with, except I personally prefer Patrick Mahomes. I want to know, do you think Lamar Jackson's the best candidate they could have had for
No.
the cover of the game. And frankly, I think he's the best candidate they've had in a while. I think Lamar Jackson personifies the Madden game more than most people. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, so going into this season and, the new game, I think Lamar is totally the best choice for this. Like you said, the guy, I'm not a Baltimore fan either, but the guy is so likable.
Exactly.
And he's just a team player. He's kind of not only a perfect face for Madden, but he's kind of like the perfect face for this new version of football that's like existing. When the playoffs were happening and there was a possibility that the Super Bowl could have been Saints-Ravens, that was going to be like the classic matchup of old school versus new school football. So going forward into what this new version of the NFL is going to be eventually, and all these kids coming up and their style of playing, I think he's absolutely the perfect face for the game.
And I definitely agree with you there, because we are seeing a lot more of an RPO type league, a college type league, where the quarterback has the option to run and the quarterback has designed running plays. The problem is that I do completely agree with what you're saying. The problem is you're going to have guys in college trying to imitate that who just can't do that.
No, you need to be a certain type of athlete. You can't just be a big guy and assume that you're going to be able to run through everyone.
And the thing about Lamar and what makes him so special, and we'll talk, looking at the rundown, we're going to talk about Lamar a lot on this show. He's the most athletic man on the field. And it's so rare to see that quarterbacks, because traditionally, and even the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to outrun somebody like Damian Williams is, where realistically Lamar might be the best running back on the Ravens team. And they have Mark Ingram. But you look at the game today with Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and all these guys coming out who have a mobile aspect to them. Do you think it's going to lead to the Bradys, the Brees, almost going I almost said extinct? Sean, what do you think?
I pretty much agree with what you all said. I think Lamar Jackson's just, unlike other people who've had checkered past, obviously, he seems like a good dude, ultra talented. Like you said, and I honestly couldn't think of anyone better. I mean, there may be other people you could put in the conversation, like, I don't know, Christian McCaffrey possibly, but I think Lamar Jackson's like the perfect choice.
But do you agree that the pocket passer, the pure pocket passer, is becoming rarer and rarer and going towards not pure extinction, but more the rarity of what a running quarterback was, and then the running quarterback, an athletic quarterback, takes over as the main default of the league?
I completely agree with that. It's definitely becoming more and more rare. Well, maybe not completely. I feel like there are people who try to do it, but only a handful get successful. Like, obviously Lamar's done it, like Michael Vick. You see other quarterbacks sometimes try it, and it doesn't work out. I think you just got to be a good athlete.
Russ, yeah, Matt, what's up?
I kind of want to make another argument, though, real quick, if that's all right.
Please do.
So in defense of the pocket passing quarterback, the guy who might not be so quick on his feet, I think that he's still going to hold a lot of worth and a lot of value, because you also need a quarterback who can have a pretty long career. Tom Brady wouldn't be playing football if he decided to run the ball every third play. It's just, he wouldn't be. He'd be getting beat up. He'd be getting hurt, just like any other one of these running quarterbacks does. So I don't think either will be extinct, but the trend and the style and what the fashion is right now is definitely this multifaceted quarterback. I don't think we'll ever see the smart gunslinger go away, though.
Okay, so here's how I would respond to that. With, once again, agreeing completely, because if you look at the two guys I want to talk about specifically in this argument are Donovan McNabb and Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. Both of them started out, they were very, very good, mobile, athletic quarterbacks who would use their legs not more often than they would throw, but use their legs equally as much as they would throw. If you look at Donovan's career, and Russell Wilson's perfectly in the middle of this right now. A lot of the guys, when they're younger, and I'm not saying older players can't run, because you look at Marshawn Lynch and he's like 34, 35, and he's still going completely strong. Same with Adrian Peterson. But from a quarterback standpoint and the quarterback position, Donovan slowly started running less and less and became more successful as he became a pocket passer. Donovan in 2004 was a pocket passer. That's why he took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Same thing in 2008 where he almost did it again. Russell Wilson's the same way. Russell Wilson could run with the best of them when he was younger and probably still can run with the best of them today. But what makes him such a good player is that he would rather sit in the pocket and throw a strike and not have to get hit and not have to risk putting the team in jeopardy and not having a quarterback. He's taking the easy plays. He's taking the simple 4-yard completions versus forcing. Greenblatt, what do you think about the potential of the future quarterback prototype?
I honestly think we're going to be just seeing more and more guys just like Mahomes and Lamar. Like, their style play is just going to become the new standard. I believe that's what I think, anyways.
And it's exciting too.
It's what makes the game more fun to watch. And as much as I love Brady, he's the guy that he stays in the pocket. He doesn't really get out of the pocket that much.
Yeah, and he's just going to pick you apart with short passes and mid passes and keep taking 4-yard gains until you give him something bigger.
And like Mahomes, like what he's been. Like the no-look passes that he's been doing the last couple of years, they've been some of the most exciting things to watch in football.
It's entertainment. It's highlight reel football. And that's the thing. I'm enjoying watching it. I think I've said every single episode how big of a fan of Patrick Mahomes I am, just because I can sit here and watch his highlights and just go,
how did that guy do that?
And the funny thing is, I specifically remember sitting in our room in Forest, watching Aaron Rodgers highlights and saying to myself, wow, these might be the most entertaining passing highlights I've ever seen. 2 years later, Rodgers here, Mahomes up here.
Yeah, easily.
Like, it's insane. It's fun to watch. We're going to keep talking about that in a couple minutes when we do break down our top 100 players, or everybody's top 5, Sean's top 6, and my top 10, just because I'm a complete hardo. But we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get some water. We're all going to breathe. And then we're going to talk about Rob Gronkowski heading to Tampa. I'm Ryan Saber. You're watching the 202 show. Don't go anywhere.